Topping tonight's prime news, Democrats never let a crisis go to waste. You might be asking yourself, what's Kamala Harris been up to lately? We rarely ever see her unless she's talking about electric school buses or nervously laughing off questions from reporters. But today, the White House actually allowed Kamala to come out of hiding for a trip back to her home state of California, this time to demonize legal gun owners and continue trampling on the Second Amendment in the wake of 3 recent mass shootings in the state, which left 18 dead and injured an additional 10. Now, we all grieve the loss of innocent lives, but once again, the Democrats are attempting to capitalize off these recent tragedies in order to eliminate the rights of law-abiding gun owners. Even CNN is finally conceding in a recent article, quote, gun laws aren't going to stop mass shootings. Well, no kidding. California has some of the strictest gun laws in the country, according to advocacy groups Everytown for Gun Safety and the Giffords Law Center. But that hasn't stopped the onslaught of killings in recent days. And why would it? Fewer legal gun owners empowers criminals. The same criminals, by the way, that are propped up by California's weak on crime policies. We see it time and time again. Violent thugs getting arrested only to be let out of jail the next morning. A lot of these same crooks are the ones buying illegal guns on the street and using them to wreak havoc. The same goes for other Democrat-run states like New York and Illinois. California's Governor Gavin Newsom, he doesn't seem to care about taking criminals off the street. In true tyrannical fashion, he'd rather talk about disarming his constituents while surrounded by armed security. Watch this.
I mean, the Second Amendment's becoming a suicide pact, it feels like. We did another half-dozen gun safety bills last year. We'll continue to find whatever loopholes we can. We'll continue to lead the national conversation on gun safety reform. And the data bears out it works. It saves lives. California's 37% lower gun death rate than the rest of the nation. And yet, with all that evidence, no one on the other side seems to give a damn. They can't get anything done in Congress.
Did you catch that? Newsom believes the Second Amendment is a, quote, suicide pact. And rest assured, folks, he's working on loopholes to take away the Second Amendment. Kamala Harris parroted similar talking points moments ago in Monterey Park. Watch.
California has been courageous as a leader on the issue of smart gun safety laws. But we also need Congress to act.
Well, politicizing a tragedy like this is exactly why she's so unpopular, not just across the United States, but in her home state and even within her own party. My first guest tonight is Taylor Winston, who survived the Mandalay Bay mass shooting in Las Vegas back in 2017. He is a staunch Second Amendment advocate and current ambassador for Turning Point USA, along with his girlfriend, Britt, Crosson, who is also a Turning Point USA ambassador and a huge supporter of the Second Amendment in her own right. They're both former residents of California before they moved to Red, Tennessee back in 2019. A smart move, I might add. Welcome to you both. Glad to have you here tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Jen.
Taylor, you survived the Mandalay Bay shooting in Las Vegas back in 2017. And as the survivor of a mass shooting, you've got a perspective that most Americans can't understand. How has that experience impacted your view on ending gun violence?
Well, to be honest, it's the most horrific thing I've ever been through, and sneaks up on you even right now. For years, I didn't know how I wanted to lean into that, and I didn't know the answer. But the more I educated myself and learned more about the importance of our Second Amendment, the more I understood how much we actually need our Second Amendment. And when we start talking about all these mass shootings, they do leverage them just as talking points for political agendas, and it's absolutely disgusting. You know, watching Kamala Harris in that little clip, she's just trying to virtue signal, and it's pretty disrespectful. You know, this is a time for healing in those communities. She should be able to do something for her state before even trying to be vice president. And, she has no place to be talking on this matter.
Yeah, it's such a great point. It's sickening. We see it time and time again with these mass shootings, the quick rush to politicize these tragedies. And, Britt, the gun that was used in the Monterey Park shooting was an illegal weapon per California state law. How can this be prevented in the future when really it has nothing to do with gun laws?
It's so interesting because California actually has some of the strictest gun laws in the country already. This gun that he used, a MAC-10, has already been illegal in the state for years and years. So there's nothing that would have prevented him.
And extended magazines. He had So the MAC-10 is a semi-automatic kind of machine gun, if you will, but it is semi-automatic. And he had acquired it and had an NFA item, which is highly regulated in the United States, a suppressor that he made at home. So there's no additional gun law.
Right. What other law, I would love to hear from Kamala or Gavin, what law do they suggest would help in this situation or any of the shootings that we saw in the past couple of weeks in California? What are they going to actually change that's not going to affect law-abiding gun owners?
And the disturbing thing about it is they want to make this big rant, but he was able to kill 11 people, injure 9, travel to another location where he was then disarmed by, an amazing hero who stepped in the line of him. But imagine if that hero would have been at the party that he initiated the contact and someone had a gun. This would have prevented a lot of deaths.
It's so true. I think of that often when we see these situations in the news, and there's a couple things going on here. Number one, there is a mental health crisis in this country that nobody seems to be focused on. They want to look at guns first, and I think that these soft on crime policies that we're seeing throughout the country and especially throughout California, that should be the real focus here. I mean, locking up criminals and keeping them behind bars. Taylor, you lived in California. What do you think is responsible for their rise in gun violence?
Sorry to be vulgar, but shitty Democratic policies. It's been eroding the state for decades, and they try to ride the waves of what's going to get the people's vote and what is going to get them more control. I think California, the majority of the state is red. It's the biggest agricultural state in the country, and they're just being controlled with a magnifying glass on these big inner cities that have the worst policies of them all. So, being there, I love California. I lived in San Diego, amazing community. There's a lot of military. I think it helped keep the area a little more conservative, but you go a little north and the cities are falling apart on the inside. The homeless population is at a drastic increase. Depression is rising, inflation. People are leaving California for a reason, including us. That's why, we're here in Tennessee, like America and freedom here in Tennessee. And California is a beautiful state, and it's unfortunate with the politics.
Yeah, well, glad that you're in a better place now. But, Britt, you heard Governor Newsom there. He thinks you're apparently part of a suicide pact, the two of you, by supporting the Second Amendment. What would be your message to Governor Newsom?
I think that everyone should have the opportunity to be their own first responder. And when you take away the rights of people to actually have a weapon on their person, I mean, it impacts these minority communities more than anyone else. You're just making it difficult for good people to take care of themselves and then their families, their communities. And so that's why you're seeing these people leave in droves. And then you've got criminals being let out on the streets, and you're providing them with, fresh needles. So what are we doing to mental health, depression, anxiety? You're just going to push out all of the good people. And, you're seeing the effects of that right now in real time. Yeah.
And I wanted to touch on mental health. What is Kamala and what is Gavin actually doing? The answer is nothing. After the mass shooting in Route 91, myself and others, we rallied together and we helped train and educate thousands of people in Southern California and Nevada with the help of Dr. Shiva Guide to educate people on the trauma they're going through and give them the tools to make themselves healthier. I have yet to see a single thing that either of those two have done that even compare what we've done on such a small local level. So I don't know. I would love to talk to him. I want to educate Gavin. Like he's clearly completely disconnected from what's going on in this country.
Listen, you're always welcome back on this program. We so greatly appreciate your perspective here. Taylor Winston, Britt Crosson, thank you so much for all that you do and for being with us tonight.
Thank you. Have a good night, Jen.